And I think this could be fun. We're gonna start things off with Trout, talking about America's secret insect army. I am intrigued. Are we ready? Get your tinfoil hats prepared and properly in place. Let's check it out.
Nukes are scary. Chemical weapons are scary. But imagine a bomb that, when it explodes, doesn't unleash fire and shrapnel. It unleashes fleas. Fleas carrying the plague. This wasn't a comic book idea.
Holy shit, what? 12 seconds in, and I'm already holy shitting myself. What? Fleas infected with the fucking plague? Okay, this is equally scary because wasn't there a fucking case of this recently? Somewhere in North America, wasn't there actually a case of the plague recently? Like a single case. I can't recall exactly where, and I can't recall exactly which, because there's multiple kinds. I can't recall exactly which plague was, the person was afflicted with. Because I don't believe it was the bubonic plague. It was another variant of it. No, Caucasian. I don't believe it was the bubonic plague. I believe it was a different plague. Which kind it is, it's escaping me. But yes, someone was actually. Whoa! This is making this fucking scary. This is absolutely making this scary.
Yeah, or the plot to a B movie. No. This is what the U.S. Army was up to in the 1950s.
Yes! Yes! Genetically, that's it. The pneumonic plague. That's what it was. Thank you, genetically. Yeah, it was the pneumonic plague. Someone was actually afflicted with the pneumonic plague.
No. This is what the U.S. Army was up to in the 1950s. Join me today as we discuss the story of how America's greatest minds came together to replace tanks and bombs with fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes. Because nothing quite says global superpower like winning World War III with malaria. I'm King Trout, and despite the fact that I travel all the time, I refuse to get TSA pre-check because when I go to the airport with all of my rich friends who have it, I go through the regular line and make it through security before they do. Let's roll back the clock. Humans have been weaponizing bugs since long before America existed. For example, in medieval Europe, sometimes attackers would catapult beehives and wasp nests over castle walls.
A large influx of bees ought to put a stop to that.
Yeah, actually.
And during the siege...
I mean, let us not forget Genghis Khan facilitated biological warfare by trebucheting corpses. Rotting corpses infested with diseases and probably insects into the kingdoms of places that he was conquering. So, yes, Colton, you're thinking of. I know exactly what you're thinking of. It was the NCIS episode where Tony and Kate. Tony stupidly opens a letter that is simply addressed to NCIS agent. Opens it up, blows on it, and it's white powder. And him and Kate get quarantined, and he seems like he's dying. But it's actually it's not anthrax like they thought. It was a bubonic plague, but the geneticists that created the plague actually built a suicide chain into it, so Tony was never going to die in the first place. I remember that episode. Yes, I do.
Siege of Kaffa, allegedly the Mongols catapulted plague-infested corpses into the city,
yes!
carrying...
Oh my god! This is the third fucking video in a row that I have called this shit! Chat, I am on fire today! I am on fucking fire!
The fleas that may have helped to spread the Black Death across Europe. So when the army started brainstorming, they weren't inventing something new. They were just putting a modern spin on the ancient human pastime of chucking bugs at people you don't like. Fast forward to the 1950s, times were strange. While nuclear annihilation would bring about an end to those pesky Russians, it would also kill everyone on the planet, which 10 out of 10 people agree kinda sucks. So they started.
Well, never mind, my joke's not gonna work. I was gonna make a Helldivers joke about managed democracy and the joke about 9 out of 10 doctors agree that dying is bad. It's not gonna work. Never mind.
Brainstorming alternatives. The Pentagon wanted weapons that left no fingerprints. Imagine if Soviet troops started getting sick. Was it natural or was it sabotage? What if they couldn't prove it either way? That's where insects came in. Bugs had many things to offer. Cheap mass production. One army project bred millions of mosquitoes per week. Stealth. What if the
And in regards to the mosquitoes, think about it. Like, even in the 1950s, Africa was already in the grip of a very serious malaria problem that was spread by mosquitoes. Remember, there was that whole movement, not only for the clean water, but to basically get mosquito nets to the people of Africa for their for their homes and for their beds, because they were because the spread of malaria via mosquitoes is always been so incredibly prevalent. And so it's not a stretch for scientists, especially in the fucking 50s, that are just like, we need to kill everything, to look at Africa and go, now what if we got a whole bunch of those mosquitoes and just dropped them on an enemy country and just allowed the rampant spread of, say, malaria throughout the country to defeat our enemies? The big and Dragonfire, I was just about to say that. The big problem is you have no control over them. Is they're going to go, it's not like, it's not like using not like the bat bomb, where you can kind of sort of use their instincts against them and know where they're going to go. It's that you drop these things and they're literally going to go everywhere. So it's not only the enemy opposition that you're going to be stopping or dropping, but the innocent civilians that you're going to be dropping to.
The thing you're afraid of is this big. And plausible deniability. A swarm of insects could just appear to be natural. The Pentagon essentially wanted to turn your summer camping inconvenience into a war plan. Imagine, if you will, Georgia, 1955. Elvis is on the radio, Coca-Cola is 5 cents a bottle, and then the U.S. Air Force drops 300,000 mosquitoes out of a C-119 transport plane. That was a reference to the Twilight Zone. I don't know why all the cultural references I make in my videos apply to 80-year-olds, since you're all...
Trout, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Both doing the Ron Sterling voice and the deepfake right there. That was, hats off. That's impressive.
20 to 35-year-old men, but great show. Check it out if you get the chance. Anywho, this was Operation Big Buzz. The mosquitoes weren't infected with anything, but boy, oh, they sure were hungry.
Now, hold up. According to the guy that released it. Okay, so the mosquitoes weren't infected with anything, according to the guy who released it.
With anything, but boy, oh, they sure were hungry, and they did what mosquitoes do best. Locals reported swarms biting everything: cattle, children, soldiers in the test zones. The kicker on all of this is that they didn't tell anybody they were going to do it. The conclusion to this test was that mosquitoes could survive high-altitude release, disperse effectively, and bite humans rapidly. Congratulations, Pentagon, you invented mosquito carpet bombing. The year before, the U.S. Army had tested the release of fleas in a similar manner in something they called Operation Big Itch, which, sidebar here, something I've learned in making these videos and the research that surrounds them is that the U.S. military sucks at naming operations. They're way too on the nose and they sound dumb. The one thing I will give the CIA credit for, despite how much I despise them, and they will come up later in this video, is they're good at naming operations. They sound so much spookier, more ominous. It's called Operation Big Itch because fleas make you itchy. Anywho, Operation Big Itch was a plan wherein they intended to drop thousands of the little bastards over certain specific testing sites at Dugway Proving Grounds. While these fleas
I was not expecting that, okay. And Raven Knight, thank you for the tier 1.
Were supposed to be released only over targeted grids, one bomb did misfire, releasing the fleas inside of the plane. The fleas were everywhere, pilots scratching mid-flight, scientists panicking. But the lesson was learned. Fleas can be dispersed. Containment sucked, and karma's a bitch. Next, in 1956, was Operation Dropkick. Not the wrestling move, it was another mosquito operation, which I'm sure they only called Operation Dropkick because they already called the first two Big Buzz and Big Itch, and they ran out of biting insects.
Wait. Why does Operation Dropkick sound really fucking familiar to me? And it has nothing to do with these mosquitoes. Like, that's triggering something in my memory. Like there was something called Operation Dropkick. No, that was Operation Dumbo Drop Dragon Rider. I don't know why, but that's triggered a memory of that. I've heard that somewhere before, and I can't think of where. Maybe I heard it in a movie, like maybe like a military movie or something. Had something they called Operate, or it was a video game or something. Was it Fat? I don't think it was Fat Electrician. I don't know. Yeah, in reference to the Doctor Strangelove references. I don't know. Maybe Hatsashi. I don't know. Maybe it's from Doctor Strangelove. It's been a while since I've seen that. Maybe that's what's tickling the back of my head. I don't know. Also, potential nuclear attack plan, codenamed Dropkick. Tornado, that could be. Maybe I heard somewhere like about a potential nuclear attack mission. Oucher also uses as a mission. That could be at Atanashi. That I heard it in an archer. I don't know. It's just like when he said that, and I'm like, I'm tisming the fuck out of this one. But like it tickled something in the back of my brain. Like I've heard this before. And it's bothering me that I can't remember where I heard it from. Damn it.
Insect-related names. In Savannah, Georgia, the Army released thousands of mosquitoes into residential neighborhoods, where they measured how quickly they dispersed, how many went into homes, and how many people were bitten.
Esteban was bitten. Eaten! Is he dead? Esteban was eaten! He was swallowed whole. No! Jude!
Again, they did not inform the public that they would be doing
D Steel and Solaris and Viola, thank you for the follows.
this. Yes, the U.S. Army literally bug-bombed Savannah. And since they didn't tell anybody, the locals just thought, damn, bugs are bad this year. Then, in 1958, again as part of Operation Dropkick, the Army released 1 million mosquitoes in the neighborhoods of Avon Park, Florida. They were coated in a fluorescent powder so that the scientists could track them. The results? Mosquitoes bite people. During this time, the Army wasn't the only one playing with bugs like that weird kid in elementary school. The CIA wanted in too. In the early 1960s, the CIA allegedly released flies covered with cholera bacteria into Cuban villages. They also considered using beetles to destroy Cuban sugar plantations, collapsing their economy. It wasn't
Well, now that sounds familiar, doesn't it? I wonder if that's where they got the idea for the plot behind Jurassic Park Dominion from. And for those of you that don't know, the whole plot behind Jurassic Park Dominion wasn't dinosaurs. It was that, what was it? Not InGen. The other, Dodson's group. Forget the name of it. They basically used, they cloned, prehistoric locusts, which were like 10, 20, 30 times the size of the standard locust, and the whole purpose of them was to destroy crops. For crops. Biosyn, thank you, Silver 8. So Biosyn basically genetically engineered locusts specifically designed to destroy crops that were not the product of biosyn. So the locust would avoid the crops that came from biosyn seed and would destroy the crops that were not biosyn seed. I wonder if that's where they got the idea from.
Necessarily just about killing people. It was about ruining the food supply, causing chaos, and hoping that the Cubans would lose faith in Castro. Also, I don't know how long that's been here, but man, does that bother me. Because after all, what topples communism faster than dying a violent death of diarrhea while you have no food to eat? Even if the bugs weren't carrying pathogens, fear might do the job. Rumors of killer mosquitoes might cause farmers to flee their fields or soldiers to desert. Just think of the panic in the early 2000s around the West Nile virus. The CIA learned you didn't necessarily need a disease outbreak, you just needed people to be afraid of one. Weaponized paranoia. One thing that is worth noting is that a lot of these ideas probably weren't invented by Americans themselves. Imperial Japan's Unit 731 in World War II perfected bug warfare. They dropped plague-infected fleas into villages in China, killing thousands. After the war, instead of killing the Unit 731 scientists like those disgusting monsters deserved, the U.S. recruited them in Operation Paperclip.
We shocked by this? Are we realistically shocked that the U.S. would recruit these scientists as a part of Paperclip? Considering what they pulled from Germany, this should surprise absolutely no one.
Research in exchange for immunity. So in all likelihood, America's bug warfare playbook came straight from the minds of some of the world's most reprehensible and disgusting war criminals. Woo! By the 1960s, the U.S. had brainstormed a full insect arsenal. Mosquitoes to spread yellow fever, malaria, and dengue fever. Fleas to spread the plague. Ticks to spread tularemia, also known as...
It's a clip art one to give you a break from looking at so many parasitic insects.
rabbit disease and Q fever. Flies to spread cholera and dysentery. And grasshoppers to cause famine by crop destruction. At some point, the army basically asked, what if we just brought the 10 biblical plagues to Moscow? Here's the ethical horror. Most of these tests happened near civilians. Savannah, Georgia, Avon Park, Florida.
Yeah.
None of whom knew what was going on. That flea test in Utah was done on unwitting soldiers. So when dengue fever mysteriously spiked in Cuba in the 1960s, when encephalitis appeared in Florida, historians still debate, was this natural or was it a test run? The real question is, though, did it work? Then the answer is not really. Insects are chaotic. They're unpredictable. They do whatever they want. A mosquito might bite a cow instead of a general. Fleas might make their way out of the bomb on the plane and bite your own soldiers. And ticks might just wander off. Insects were said to be proven too unreliable for battlefield use. But regardless, the research continued on for decades.
I mean, here's the thing. They're generally unreliable, but theoretically speaking, there is a way to make it work. Theoretically, you could basically either use subsonic frequency or pheromones in your target area to basically kind of guide the insects to where you want them to go. And by, at least have the people that you want infected to be in the general vicinity. So it'd be two parts thing. You'd have to have someone on the ground, deep, like undercover in the area where you're looking to affect. Have them facilitate planting a device in the area that you're wanting to drop them and have the insects congregate in to bite people. And plant this device, GTFO, and then drop the insects in, and you'd have either subsonic frequency for communication, or pheromones for like the horny females, and have them there. And theoretically speaking, you could do that two-tiered system to make it work. Theoretically. Like, this is just off the top of my head, not being a scientist, but knowing a little bit in regards to how pheromones guide insects in their, in how they function. It theoretically could work. Maybe. And that's kind of scary.
1972, the U.S. signed the Biological Weapons Convention, pledging to stop their bug experiments. And since they pinky promised, I'm sure they did, right?
Sure.
Right. You know where this is going. Well, shockingly, documents prove that testing continued well into the 1970s. Some conspiracy theorists point to the rise in Lyme disease in the 1970s near Plum Island. A biowarfare lab as just a teensy little bit suspicious. Was this a coincidence, or was it the leftovers of bug warfare gone rogue? Fast forward to today. DARPA funds a program called Insect Allies, wherein they release genetically engineered bugs designed to spread crop-enhancing viruses. Officially, it's for agricultural resilience. Unofficially, critics say it smells a bit like bug warfare 2.0.
And there's also the fear that it's a route towards biological warfare, which is forbidden by
for using RT as your means of demonstration of this. Not great source of media using RT. I'm just saying.
the Biological Weapons Convention. Well, those scientists behind the research say there's nothing to worry about.
Meanwhile, CRISPR technology allows scientists to reprogram mosquitoes to resist malaria, cough, or spread new diseases, cough. For legal reasons, the fact that I am mentioning the name of Bill Gates at this point in the video is unrelated to anything I have previously stated. Some people whisper that the 1981 dengue fever outbreak was CIA bug warfare, that Lyme disease originated from biowarfare tick tests gone wrong, and that the Pentagon still has secret insect labs working under the cover of public health. Is any of this proven? No. Well, not yet, anyway. But after learning that the U.S. government literally airdropped mosquitoes onto Savannah, Georgia in the 1950s, can it just be dismissed outright? I don't think so. I think it's one of those things where we'll learn, yeah, they totally did that, but it'll be like 50 years from now when half the people who are affected by it are already dead. I don't know. Nothing surprises me anymore. So next time you're swatting away a mosquito, just remember, it may be thirsty for your blood, or it may be valiantly attempting to finish the Cold War. And nothing says land of the free like being bombed with bugs by your own government without your permission.
Yeah.
Stay itchy, stay paranoid, and for the love of God, buy bug spray. As always, thank you for watching. I've been King Trout. I'll see you when I see you. Love you. Bye.
Oh.
Trout.
Hey, well, for those of you that live in particularly buzzy areas, good luck sleeping tonight.